I'll
Yes.
do that.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Hello, Monica. Sorry for
Hello.
yesterday. I
No.
had no internet link yesterday, so now it's.
Okay,
No,
friends,
no worries.
friends,
No.
we are live now. So, yeah.
Thank you. So hello everyone, welcome to this 8th day of global action for nonviolent economy. We are very happy to be here again with you to share some of the most relevant highlights from the different actions across the world happening today, but also the ones that happened yesterday and that we couldn't share in this program. Today we will also speak about the importance of getting access to clean water resources and sources, and we will have a couple of very interesting experiences on that subject, one from India and another one from Senegal. So stay with us as every day, and we'll start with a short musical video clip, and then we will go through these different important highlights of the day. Many thanks for being here.
Gandhi was using law. He did use gun. While everybody was, rich people were trying to run factories, Gandhi was trying to run the handspin chakra. While rich people were traveling in big vehicles, Gandhi was using footpath. So this is it's a tribal, very deep tribal area of India. Hundreds of tribal women and children.
Thank you, Gary Bai, for this pieces of music, which always give us a lot of good spirit. And thank you again, friends, for joining us today and for watch this series of broadcasts with the most important updates of the global campaign on nonviolent economy. As you know, these days we have been sharing a lot of different actions from different countries. There have been mobilizations, there have been also webinars, also very local actions on planting trees and on promoting local gardens, and a lot of also fastings from different countries with people that is sharing some messages for peace. And that's how we have been also building this campaign, not only with the big actions that some of the allies and friends from Jagat have been organizing from several months before, but also we're trying to promote very concrete and small actions that people can take up every day to experience how it could be to transit to a nonviolent economy with these small and individual or groupal actions that, of course, can make a big difference in the world. And that's also what we are trying to reflect on with these discussions also from different initiatives now in different places, how people is really putting a lot of effort doing small changes that can have a really big impact and inspire others. And that's also, I think, one of the main goals of this campaign. So, as you know, there has been a very interesting North American relay fast organized by the Mahatma Gandhi Canadian Foundation for World Peace. They have been inviting different people, educators, activists, to join to do a fast for one day, and to do it with the spirit for peace and justice, and share a solidarity message to the world. And yesterday, Lee Ann Ingram, who works with the Faculty of Education at the Lakehead University in Ontario. She has a PhD in education with 15 years of international professional experience in education, gender equality, and youth engagement, and international development. She's also an artist. She's a writer and a visual artist. So she was the one who decided to take up this fast for peace, and we are very fortunate to have a small piece on an interview with Riva Joshi, who is also part of the Mahatma Gandhi Canadian Foundation and who has led and organized this fast. So let's see this interview. Let's get inspired by her message.
I'm with Lee Ann Ingram. Lee Ann is a multi-talented individual. She's an artist and a writer and an educator and an activist. And today, on September 27th, she is fasting. She's the principal faster in our North American Relay Fast. She's in Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Leanne, would you like to talk a little bit about your reasons for fasting and what the fast means to you?
Hey, thanks. Hi, Reva. Hi, everyone. I also joined in the fast last year. And like many of you, I am very concerned about our environment and our human relationship with our planet. There is nothing more pressing to the world right now and to me than our climate crisis, our sustainability crisis. And that also relates to the way that we treat other people, the way that we treat the less fortunate, the way that we treat immigrants, refugees. It's all, to me, interconnected. And so I chose to fast for an organization called Simcoe Greenbelt Coalition, which is a local organization in Ontario where I live, and which is involved in protecting Lake Simcoe and the green areas around the lake. So my fast is really around I hope to help raise awareness and action around fundamentally rethinking the way that humans and relate to our planet. So that is my reason for fasting.
Thank you so much, Leanne. That's wonderful. And we will be back again tomorrow with the next person fasting. So thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Riva and Leanne, for taking this action, and Riva for organizing this and to take the time to also interview our friends. Many thanks. And also now moving to India, where we have also a daily program, different payatras across different districts in India. They've been marching from the 21st of September, and we have had the opportunity to hear from the marchers itself the last days, how it has been the experience, how they have been engaging with the community, with youth people, and with indigenous also communities, and some of the workshops they have been doing around climate, around access to land and different things. And we are very, very happy now to share some of the recent updates from yesterday and today, which Jay will help us to see.
Jagat friends.
Over to you. Yeah.
So I'll be sharing the updates for today. First of all, it's the 8th day of the 12-day action, but the enthusiasm of each marcher is as new as it was on the first day. Today, various foot marchers in the state of Jharkhand walked through dense forest areas. I'll just be sharing some photos on the screen to show you what the marches were like. And not only in Jharkhand, but in other parts of the country as well. We had marches happening in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, and so on and on. In Sagar district, many villagers contributed by giving a handful of cereal in the donation plot. In Shopur, Jagat, Jaising ji, who is the Padyatri of Jagat, also shared the importance of working for land and water rights. In Assam, marchers crossed a small bridge made of sticks to reach their destination. I'll just share some photos from these different experiences, so you can see what the experience is. Give me 1 second. Here. So as various marchers progressed into the interior part of rural India, they crossed a lot of these small streams to reach from one village to another. And they realized, reaching these villages, that it's very important to show light on the problem that they've been facing for a long time. Land was a big issue, and clean water sources were another very important issue. This is the address from Jaisinghji in Shirpur district. These are some villages from Lalitpur. This is the meeting that was happening in Sagar and Pandupokri in Raisen. And these are the registrations done by the marchers. And these are some visuals from Surajpur in Chhattisgarh. I'll just quickly share a report of all the other districts as a summarized form in 1 minute. And if you'd like any visuals from this yatra, you can just reach out to us at jayjagatinternational@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to just, send you some of these materials. So here's a summary of the other yatras that happened across the country. Jai Jagat friends, in Damo district of Madhya Pradesh, the foot march reached Jhapan block. Here, a small meeting was organized to sensitize the villagers about the climate crisis. Senior journalists Sri Naren Dubey and Manu Mishra, a political leader from the Congress party, were also present in this meeting. They offered their solidarity with the march.
आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद यात्रा में आने के लिए और संघर्ष और लड़ाई लड़ने के लिए घनश्याम भैया और उनकी पूरी टीम को बहुत बहुत बधाई, संतोष भैया को, सुजात भाई को, जो लोग भी इस यात्रा में अपना सहयोग कर रहे हैं उन सबको हमारी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। और घनश्याम भैया से हम चाहते हैं इस यात्रा में यहाँ से लेकर दमोह तक जैसा भी सहयोग हम लोग को चाहिए पड़े हम आपको देंगे। धन्यवाद।
Foot march reached Bangra village. Here, they had a small meeting with the village to talk about how to make the village more beautiful. The villagers pledged to work in the direction of reducing the use of plastic. In Mandla district of Madhya Pradesh, some marchers were seen wearing their traditional tribal attire. The march reached Pakri Tola and had a small meeting on the government school campus. Here, the majority of the population belongs to the Bega tribe, and the discussion focused on their issues. In Muzaffarpur district of Bihar, they started the day with the Jai Jagat song and the foot march reached Bishnupur village. Here they organized a Gram Sabha where they discussed Mahatma Gandhi's idea of Gram Swaraj and how the village economy is an important part of it. They also discussed various ways of strengthening the local economy. In Puri district of Odisha, the foot march reached Gopinathpur. Here the marchers met with the women of the village and had a discussion about their livelihood. They understood how their livelihood is dependent on the Chilka lake. In Raipur district of Chhattisgarh, the foot march reached Jota Gram Panchayat. Here they organized a small meeting with the women of the village to know their issues. Here they could understand that alcoholism is emerging as a serious problem and the steps to de-addiction should be taken soon. The foot march of Sehor district, Madhya Pradesh reached Rafiqganj for the night halt. They had various meetings in between where they talked about how the villagers can claim their rights over their land. Some of the marchers have been working for forest rights at Ekta Parishad for a very long time, and therefore they were able to share their experiences. In Sindhi district of Madhya Pradesh, the march reached Simaria village. Here the key point for the discussion today was the availability of clean water sources. The villagers explained about the water sources. In Surajpur district of Chhattisgarh, the foot march started from Jagatpur and crossed a beautiful forest to reach Surta village. This journey gave them an idea of how natural resources make these villages more beautiful and self-sustainable. In Umaria district of Madhya Pradesh, the march reached Bakeli village. Here, a small meeting was organized to discuss the accessibility of clean water sources. The meeting also focused on how to use various techniques to improve groundwater levels, which can serve as a natural water resource. Jai Jagat, thank you.
Thank you, Jay, for this wonderful briefing of the several marches. I mean, do we know like how many people is marching from the different districts? Like around how many people? It's just, I mean, it seems to be.
Yeah. So I think in each and every one of the marches, there are between 50 to 80 people marching. And then in the regions that they are marching, there are, hundreds of people who actually join them. So there'll be some people who just join from a school or from a village or from a city council. So some places the march is going into the hundreds, that you can see from the photos. So effectively, while the number of marchers would probably be close to like 5,000 or 4,000, but the number of people who are marching are probably closer to 100,000, sometimes at a maximum level, but a huge number of people are marching in a lot of places. There are 100 odd marches happening in the country and the world.
Yes, amazing. Well, thank you, Jay, and we will hope to keep learning more from the marches tomorrow. Also today, the Asian NGO Coalition for Agrarian Reform and Rural Development, every day they are having a series of webinars on different topics. And today they had a wonderful one in collaboration with the Kyrgyz Association of Forest and Land Users and the National Pasture Organization Kyrgyz Haiti, as well as with the International Land Coalition, their national engagement strategy in Kyrgyzstan. And it was around promoting improved livelihoods of land users and ensuring food security in the context of climate change. So there were very interesting experiences shared by people living in rural Kyrgyzstan and how they the relationship between getting good access of land and ensuring food security for their communities in this difficult context of climate change. So let's, everything is in Kyrgyz, so we may not understand, but just take a look at the webinar. Also, for us, it's been very interesting to see how many people from other regions and countries have been involved and engaged in this campaign, and that's how also we are. Our family is growing, and it's very, very inspiring to see so many people from different places talking about same issues and interest. So here we go with the webinar.
Вот, допустим, даже один такой простой пример. Вот мы уже больше 2 лет как страдаем от ковида. Это тоже какой-то результат того, что несоблюдение баланса там требований природы. Поэтому изменение климата, он вносит свои негативные влияния для развития. И поэтому
области. И их благосостояние и жизнь напрямую в основном зависит от лесных земель, от лесных ресурсов, так как основным видом их деятельности является лесопользование. То есть они собирают гектара, а также 600 штук саженцев яблони,
по которым они будут использовать эти территории. Ну, в общем-то, это и справедливо, потому что вся их жизнь в основном зависит от этих земель. И что мы видим в итоге пастбищной реформы? Конечно, очень большой пласт работы сделан за эти годы. Хотелось бы отметить, что основными достижениями, которые были сделаны этими местными сообществами, которые сгруппировались, кстати говоря, в пастбищные комитеты, их у нас более 4. Вообще данный показатель у нас вырос. Чем больше, тем лучше. Были бы мы только рады. Культурные результаты тоже, конечно, они могут не так явно бросаться в глаза, но тем не менее за эти 10 с небольшим лет с момента начала пастбищной реформы в нашей стране мы видим их. Это улучшение коммуникации, связи, межпоколенческой связи, возрождение каких-то старых забытых традиций, знаний традиционных, подходов, привлечение молодежи к вопросам пастбищ, к вопросам сельского хозяйства, вообще жизни на селе.
And then we can also find always the enthusiasm from the Jagat friends.
Time with more energy, okay? Jai Jagat.
Jai Jagat.
And last time, Jai Jagat.
Jai Jagat.
Okay, thank you very much.
So there we had the webinar of the Gangok Secretariat Regional. Many thanks for sharing with us also these webinars, and you can also watch it completely on our Facebook page. We have already there all the ones that already happened the day before, and also tomorrow at 1:30 IST you can watch the next one. Okay, and I mean, it's very interesting because we have seen how also in most of these discussions, the theme on the importance and the role of women has been highlighted almost every day. And yesterday also we had an amazing discussion here in Mexico. It was the launch of a 3-day workshop on women and environment. And yesterday it was related with the peace agents, women, and ecofeminism. And I mean, a lot of young women, and not that young, but I mean, they share some of their experiences on these movements, and they gave an amazing brief on how these two movements I mean, the gender movement and the women movement, the feminist movement and the environmental movement and ecological have come together to create this another sort of theory, but also theory for action and movement, and how it is important to consider the convergence between both of them, considering similar exploitations structures of women and nature, and how it is interconnected, those also social systems of domination, and how if we come together we can also bring more ideas on how to face them in challenging those systems. So let's hear also, I mean, of course it is in Spanish, but let's hear a little bit on that webinar too.
De un movimiento pacifista, que es cuando nuestros papás dirían, ay, esos hippies revoltosos, y se espantan, ¿no? Así de, ay, es que en mi época había esos hippies de melena larga, y entonces les daba el poquito el infarto. Pues tenemos ya por un lado que se venía construyendo desde 1600, 1700, los primeros pensamientos o esbozos o rayones del movimiento feminista, y se encuentran por otro lado con este surgimiento de este movimiento por la reivindicación de la paz y del amor al medio ambiente, se empieza a visibilizar.
Nos están quedando sin agua, pues son las personas del centro. Entonces creo que se crea este clasismo medioambiental porque pues las personas que tienen dinero sí tienen el recurso para conseguir agua y las que no, pues tienen que recurrir a otras cosas como pozos, ir a otros lugares con agua, y las que sufren más pues son las mujeres racializadas.
Comunidades en México son iguales, porque pues eso también sería muy grave, pero sí hay casos muy emblemáticos en México donde el agua o el entorno natural forma parte fundamental para el desarrollo de las comunidades y que sigue siendo extraída por intereses económicos y la otra persona que está enfrente, y nosotros ya nos hicimos una idea completa de que, claro, trae su café en un vaso desechable, en un vaso de unicel, claro que es un mal ser humano, porque ¿cuántos años va a tardar ese café, ese vaso de café, que es en una construcción colectiva de conocimiento en torno del medio que necesitan todos los demás, o todas las demás? ¿Y por qué es tan importante tenerlo en cuenta? A estas mujeres científicas que están haciendo cosas impresionantes para visibilizar.
So there we have also, if you want to watch it, the full of it, it's also on the Facebook page for the Spanish speakers. It's there, very, very discussion. And also the after tomorrow will be the second part of the workshop. And on the 1st of October, they will finalize this interesting discussion. Well, I think this is it from the updates of the actions. We'll go to have a small musical break, and then we will come back with a very good discussion on the importance of having cleaning water sources. And we will hear from a couple of experiences from India, and also we are very grateful to have our friends from Senegal who will also share some of their initiatives on this and how is the situation in Africa, particularly in Senegal, in terms of getting access to clean water. So stay with us, friends. Jay, could we play the music, please?
Sure. So
saludos desde Punta Chueca.
Hola, Daniela.
Comunidad Comcac. Dice Jagat, Pucarilla. Victoria, Victoria, Victoria el planeta ya. Jagat, Pucarilla. Victoria, Victoria, Victoria el planeta ya. Una llamada de amor, que nadie se quede atrás, que nadie se quede atrás, que prevalezca la paz, y nuestro amor sea inmortal, solo era la felicidad, si es con toda la humanidad, solo era la felicidad, si es con toda la humanidad, Jagat, Pucarilla. Victoria, Victoria, Victoria el planeta ya. Jagat, Pucarilla. Victoria, Victoria, Victoria el planeta ya. Una llamada de amor, que nadie se quede atrás, que prevalezca la paz, y nuestro amor sea inmortal, solo era la felicidad, si es con toda la humanidad, solo era la felicidad, si es con toda la humanidad, Jagat, Pucarilla. Victoria, Victoria, Victoria el planeta ya. Jagat, Pucarilla. Victoria, Victoria, Victoria el planeta ya. ¡Victoria el planeta! Muchas gracias. ¡Ah, Tipi!
Thank you, friends. Handing back to you.
Thank you, Jay. And welcome, dear Gary Bai, my dearest friend. Gary Bai from India. He will be, he has a lot of also experience on the theme of on water and its relation with the nonviolent economy. And he will be our moderator today, and he will be the one introducing our friends from the panel discussion. Welcome, Gary.
Well, thank you, Monica. Thank you very much. Jai Jagat, and welcome to everyone. Friends, with less than 1% of water available for drinking globally, there has been a growing concern on the quality of water that people have been consuming. So one of the themes of the 12 days of action has been to work in a way where we can have cleaner water sources. And this is not only important from the human survival point of view, but also from the biodiversity point of view. Often when we talk about clean water sources, it's only about focusing on humans. But what we also forget is about the natural habitants of the Mother Earth. So I'm very lucky to have with me today two very interesting people. One of them being Dr. Rajen Singh, who is also known in India as the Waterman of India. He is a Magsaysay Award winner in 2001 and also won the Stockholm Water Prize in 2015. Rajenji is also founder of Tarun Bharat Sangh and has been known for matching the technologies at the ground level as per the needs of the community. So at one end, when he has been implementing modern technologies, he has also taken into account the contemporary technologies to save the water sources. He has been engaged with various campaigns, two of the largest campaigns in the India, known as the Clean Ganges and the Clean Yamuna. And apart from that, Rajen Singh has been also very instrumental in bringing the concept of water conservation, watershed development into India. So, Rajenji, I welcome you to this panel discussion. And if it's possible for you, can you please turn your video on?
Thank you.
Uncle, can you turn your video on? Yes, yes. Thank you so much. So, Rajenji, welcome to this panel discussion. And I've been following you for a very long time. You know me since I was a child, and my education in the field of water comes from people like you. So, as I told you that today on the 12 days of action, we are today focusing on clean water sources. So I wanted to have an insight from you that why do you think that this clean water source becomes all the more critical, especially in a time when you are advocating at the national level along with the governments and the NGOs and the policy makers, especially in terms of also running campaigns like Jal Jan Jodo Abhiyan, where you are focusing on having community level interventions and individual level interventions. So I would like to know from you your perspective of the current scenario of water in India as well as globally, and what do you think is the way forward?
You know, the Indians believe the water is a great sacred because the great sacred is life, and life begins with water. So the Indians have lot of respect about the water, and they reduce use in life and retreat, recycle, reuse, and they believe they rejuvenate this planet only by water. But unfortunate part is the government have no respect for water. They think the water is a commodity and they privatize, they commercialize. My government looking the economy in water. So when you explore the economy in life, so this is a real disaster for any nation or for planet, because the life is not for commercial purpose. The life is not a commodity. Life is a part of this planet. So now in India, the more than 72% underground aquifer is overdraft. And our streams, rivers going dry and dry. More than 60% people, they not have the safe water for drinking. Yes, they have water, but that is not safe water for drinking. And India, dirty water linking with clean water. My country believe in sewer and river making separate. But this government in the hand of the multinational companies. The multinational company want a water business. And that is a very big business in my country. So like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Vivendi, lot of big company doing business. So my dear friend, today I can't say the water is the sacred for Indians, because the water is now a economy. The water is a business only for big company, not for everyone. If I can say the water is a business for everyone, so I can say, yes, we have the equal right on water. But today I can't say like this. Today, the water is a business for only some big companies. So this is real great disaster in the way 40 years before when I start the work of water, that time I don't know the water engineering or I don't know the water science, but illiterate farmers teach me, and only 2 days my education or training, and he completed 2 PhD in a 2 days for me. One is geohydroscience and other is environment or natural engineering. So he teach me the science with sense and science with common sense. And he teach me the technology and engineering with consciousness and concern with nature and humankind. That did not teach me the engineering and technology only for the extraction of nature. Today, our all university or all IIT teaching to the engineers for the maximum use of natural resource. So they teach the only extraction, exploitation of nature and creating pollution and encroachment on common property on water bodies. Before the water body, the sacrates is encroachment free, and no humankind creating a dirtiness of any near water bodies. The cleanness our all water bodies before 150 years ago. But in last 150 years, the modern education teaches just extraction, exploitation, pollution, and encroachment on the water bodies or rivers. Crisis, this climate now second. In last 6 years, I seen the African country or Central Western Asian countries, due to the scarcity of water and due to the surplus of water, the water is only stored a surplus, yes, creating disaster. A scarcity, yes, creating disaster. So now
Okay, seems like we've lost our connection to Rajan Singh ji. Okay, he's back. We'll just take a minute before Rajan ji is back with us. Okay, so it seems like Rajan Singh ji is having some problem with his connection. Well, of course, once Rajan Singh ji has a more stable connection, we'll hear from him. But in the meantime, friends, I also happen to have with me, I'm very fortunate to have Leticia Bodolo with me from Senegal. Hello, Leticia, welcome. And
Thank you.
let me share something about NAIL. NAIL is a very old organization, and it is basically a group of consultants that work with organizations to design and implement advocacy initiatives grounded based on the aspirations of the people. And so they've been working on two levels. One is influencing public policy to create an enabling environment for everyone. And the other one is what we've been just talking to Rajan Singh ji about, is about influencing the behavior and practices of individuals as well as at the government level, at the policy making level. So Leticia, welcome to this webinar. We were just hearing Rajan Singh ji, and it just struck me at that very moment that we've been living in it seems like we've been living in two kinds of worlds. There's one world that has clean water, bottled water, crystal shining water available, and at other end we have the people who are at the grassroots, for whom clean water is a dream in itself. The water availability in itself is a problem. I remember I read in the newspaper a couple of days back that in India, Chennai is one of those cities that has lost all its ground level water. So there's no more groundwater available up to 2,000 feet, and which is a disaster in itself. So with your experience in mind and the amount of expertise Neil and you have at the ground level. I would like to know from you, what are your thoughts on this entire concern of clean water? Because there was a time when we said that only 1% of drinking water is available for the humankind, but over the years, as globalization has taken over, we don't have even this 1% available for anyone. Whatever is available with us is even less than 1%. So I would like to know from you, if we talk in the African context, and from your point of view, how big is this problem of access to clean drinking water, and what do you think is the way forward? Uh, of course, Rajan Singh ji has connected back with us. So after we hear you, we can go back to Rajan Singh ji and then have a mixed discussion. So Latisha, I would like to hear from you, because I especially I'm very agitated about this contrast in which people are living. Thank you very much, Latisha, and welcome.
Thank you, Gary, and good day to everyone. So my name is Laetitia. So as Gary just said, so I'm working for NIEL, a campaign and advocacy firm. So I won't speak as an expert on water, but an expert on advocacy working on cross-cutting issues like water and sanitation, and more specifically on sanitation. So, and my intervention will be more on sanitation, because even if on working on sanitation, we find some close link to sanitation and water, because access to safely manage sanitation, access to safely manage water means manage sanitation, because we found out that more than 90% of our groundwater is polluted by wastewater. So it means a lot in terms of health access, in terms of health for our children, because as you may know, more than 700 children under 5 die every day because of drinking wastewater or playing with wastewater, just because our water is not well saved and managed by our different countries. So in what we are currently doing on safely on access to those drinking water, so we are working on sanitation since 2017. So we are working with policymakers, we are working with civil society organizations, with media, on how we can better demystify the notion of sanitation and make sure that sanitation is included in the different policies. Because what we found that in Africa, we have I won't say the best, but we have the best policies in place. But in terms of practice, it's difficult. Not because we don't have the means, but because at the different aspects of the value chain, each component is not well taken into account. So for example, we are working with a network of parliamentarians focusing on drinking water, hygiene, sanitation, to ensure that even if we are working on sanitation, you take to account what we produce or what we found on sanitation and linked it to how you could better define some policies or law on drinking water and hygiene. And now when we go with CSOs, how can you make sure that you play this role of monitoring public policies implementation, doing some door-to-door or close intervention with the population, and how the media can support all this communication. And as you may know, also in Burkina, for example, with all those internal displaced people, access to safe water has been more and more critical. So the government is putting in place some open source for those people to have access to water, to save water and drinking water, but it remains difficult because as you say, the groundwater is no more accessible. And you can have water, but you won't have this drinking water. So you make this choice of drink, not save water, but you will have to face also the disease, face also lack of access to school and education, because it's difficult for sometimes for our, and unfortunately for our policymaker to quickly see the linkage and or the cross-cutting elements and synergies between those elements: water, sanitation, hygiene, education, health, environment. So it's a challenge, not for only us as simple advocates, but also for our decision makers, the implementers, so the different utilities, the different CSOs, even media. So we are still pushing. We are not there yet on what we want in terms of access, even if we want to follow the SDGs, full access to people to safely drinking water. But we are ensuring, according to the progress of the different countries, we can see changes each year by year.
Thank you, Letitia. One thing that you said was very interesting, which was about demystifying this entire concept of, making safe drinking water available. Somehow it has been a mystery, and it has been in the control of the so-called policy makers. Whereas I feel that if ground level interventions are done with the community, and at the individual level, a greater change can come. So as you said about demystifying, I would like to know your experience, the African experience, on how mobilization is happening with the community on working on their clean water context, or even for that matter of fact, as you spoke about sanitation, and how doable it is. Because if you read all these research reports and here and there, it seems like it's a big task to be done, a Herculean task. Whereas my understanding, when I was even speaking to Ajin Singh ji in that matter, as a matter of fact, is that it's not actually all that difficult. It is that something that has to be done at the policy level. That is one thing, but then there's something that also has to be done at the community and individual level. So over to you, Letitia.
So when we start the project, because it's this project that make us really go deep in water or sanitation. So when we started, we were like, oh, what can we do to start the demystification? So we produced a documentary that we call Chasing Poop, because yes, we know all of us poop, but people don't see where those poop goes, and how does this poop affect the daily life. So we produced a documentary in the West Africa region, in Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire, and Senegal, and we follow the poop. And people now see that, for example, in some countries, the wastewater go directly in the sea, directly in some water source, or is maybe managed. There is a fecal sludge treatment plant in place, but most of them is dumped in the nature. So when people, and we organize, for example, during a cinema festival, the broadcasting of this documentary. So we make people, policymakers, the population, and some experts face the reality. Because sometimes also the policymaker does not have all the means to be well understood on how they are working to make sure that we have safe water. So we were not positioning ourselves as helper, but how we can make sure that the voice of sanitation and safely manage water is more vocal. And with this documentary, we wanted to go viral. So we went on YouTube, do some festivals, organize the premiere of the documentary during the FSM5, so the fecal sludge management event, a global event, so that people can face it. And for the film festival, we face the community. And after the broadcasting, we discussed with the community. How do you feel? Did you feel when you saw it? Did you feel related to that? You see that for example, the poop, the fecal sludge has impact on how your children will grow, on his health, on his education. For example, the case of girls who can't go to school when they have their period. So, and they were discussing, telling us their challenges, and those challenges went back after to public policies, went back after to civil society organization on how they can frame again the advocacy message. So it was very a dynamic game where we manage messages, we manage also the impact we would like to see at the policy level and at the community level. So this is how we we organize and we are currently managing our sanitation project. We always identify the main actors, so the civil society, the policymakers, media, and also at the global level, who can be the different experts to help us build this unique message and strengthen it and make sure it disseminates according to the target and according to our objective. So this is one example of what we do. We did two years ago, and for this year, we produced a documentary on only one country to show for this country, not at the regional level, but for this country, where does the poop go? So, and we would like to see when we will now present the documentary, see how we can push further the government to ensure that this country has its own policy on sanitation, which includes safely managed water also.
Thank you so much, Leticia, for sharing your thoughts on this. And one of the things that you just said was about, identifying the real actor. Is actually, that takes me back to Rajen Singh ji. Rajen ji, we had a very interesting discussion while you were disconnected. Is that actually identifying the ground level actor? And this is what I understand is when I think about the Jan Jal Jodo Abhiyan, the way you have been trying to bring the common people together on the issue of clean drinking water, and actually, redefining the entire paradigm of who is the real actor. So as you started when you said that the people at the ground are actually the ones who tell us the way to go ahead. It's very unfortunate that there's someone sitting somewhere in Geneva, someone sitting somewhere in USA and deciding what is good for the world. Whereas what I've understood from what you have been doing all these years is actually to going to the people and asking them for the solutions. So Rajen Singh ji, I come back to you and would like to know from you about how community itself can be empowered in the direction of gaining access over their water resources and ensuring that the children and the future generations get a cleaner water to drink. Thank you so much, Rajen Singh ji. You may unmute yourself.
The only community-driven decentralized water management is a real solution, not only for India, I can say in planet, where the community is really doing for skill development in efficient use of water, and other hand they are doing conservation. So no water, no problem there for rivers, for drinking water. But this centralized water management system is really creating disaster. How much water community need, they not understand. Community know how much rains there and what is the way we can conserve the water. But the legal framework globally, not only Indian, is not in the favor of community. Lot of places where the community ready for the management and for the efficient use of water. But the legal framework always create a hurdle. When I start the work, so that time I facing more than hundreds legal notice against this community-driven decentralized water management. But finally, my community gets succeed because the rainwater not given by the government, the rainwater for earth or for humankind. So they have the natural right and natural ownership on water. But some country like Senegal or like other countries, there, or my country also, the water companies taking the lead on the groundwater or surface water. So change the ownership. I can say the real role for the solution of the crisis of water is the community. Community can resolve this problem. I know today is a global problem of water and global problem of drought and flood and climate change. But the solution is local. In last 40 years, my experience where the community doing this work, they are very easy solution they done. But I know these companies, the company Raj and the government, they are not comfortable with the community because the community action not allowing the corruption, not allowing the pollution, but the company Raj and government, they are giving the license for the pollution. They are giving the license for the extraction and exploitation. And they are also giving the license for the encroachment on the water bodies. So now this existing government system and company Raj, they are really creating a disaster. If this planet or this world want the solution of crisis of water, so they give the all right, community right on water. They ensure the community right on water, not company rights. If you are giving the company right, the company always thinking about the profit. They're not thinking the worship for all. They're not thinking the equally benefited for all. They are thinking only for the profit. So now the company is creating a global economic profit competition network, and profit competition network destroy the right of communities on water, and they destroy the interest of the youth on water. I can say the real stakeholder, the real entitled for the community.
Thank you so much, Rajan Singh ji. I've just turned off my video because it seems your internet connection is weak. So I just use my audio. What I gather from the discussion with you as well as Leticia is a very clear message, and the message is that the community is the primary stakeholder, and they have all the solutions. We don't need to really, have jargons and difficult techniques and difficult terminologies for simple solutions. There are simple solutions to simple problems, and as you said, this regime of transferring all natural resources into the hands of the globalizing world is actually the biggest threat to our future generations. So I guess this has been a very, very interesting discussion. And as Rajan Singh ji, as well as Leticia, what I gather is that at one end, yes, it is important for the policymakers to be sensitive about the issue of access to drinking water, because if we are talking about the sustainable development goals, I remember when we were also talking about the Millennium Development Goals, we also spoke about clean drinking water, but that dream just remained a dream. And if we do not really move into the direction that Rajenji and Leticia have put in front of us, we may probably need another SDG, and we may never be able to achieve what we really want to achieve is a community owned, community managed natural resource management. So I would like to thank Rajen Singh ji and Leticia for sharing their time with us and very, very deep insights of interventions at the government level and grassroots interventions that we learned from Rajan Singh ji. And one message that comes out very clearly is that people are the owners, they have the solution. Go to them, talk to them, spend time with them, and they'll tell you the way how their natural resources should be maintained. And as Rajan Singh ji said, I mean, he did 2 PhDs in 2 days, and it was as simple as just spending time with the people. So thank you very much, Rajan Singh ji. Thank you very much, Leticia. And we hope to take this discussion ahead. And I guess the thoughts that have come from India, the thoughts that have come from Africa, we need to synergize these thoughts and have a greater discussion on the global level of on the lines of the mission of Jai Jagat. We've been talking about a bottom-up approach. Let people be the leaders, and let us be the ones who are following it. Thank you very much, Rajenji, and thank you very much, Leticia. Over to you, Monica.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Gary Vai and Leticia and Rajendra ji. Many thanks for being here with us. It was a very interesting, great discussion. A lot of challenges, I think, for us, and it's also very important, I think, to consider those on this campaign. I think we're trying to build up like what are like the main things that we need to worry about. We're talking about transiting a nonviolent economy, and of course, getting access to clean water. It's one of the most challenging things in the world, you know, in a very diversified way, of course, but it's still a challenge for humanity. And it's very interesting because tomorrow we are having very close discussion on the importance of water. As Dr. Rajendra said at the beginning, water is sacred, no? And water, I mean, life begins with water. Without it, there is no life. And tomorrow we would like to go more deep into how, I mean, linking children's education with indigenous practices of water, and how indigenous also conceive and have another idea, not only in terms of our resource itself, but like how this is related with life. And we will hear from very interesting also experiences of children's learning in a very young age, how what all this means, no? What water, what land, what other things can also mean besides being a resource that we can manage and consume. So we invite you to follow us tomorrow as well. And I mean, today we still have a few more actions and online actions from Mexico that you can also watch on our Facebook page. I mean, right now it's, I think there is a very interesting dialogue between young indigenous people who are discussing how it is important to defend also the territory as a way to defend life, no? Which is also related with all the things we have discussed right here. So friends, many thanks again, Yves, Riva, and all the friends who are also watching us on the live streaming. Thank you for being here with us and make this broadcast possible. And also thank you very much for all the people planning actions. And we still have 4 days left of campaign, and you still have the chance to take up any action. Either online or either physical, but there are always a lot of things to do, and we can, in a humble way, we can shake the world, as our friends said. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow. Before we will play our last musical video clip, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Monica. We'd like to share something special with you today to conclude the day. We are sharing this piece by a musician and a dancer called Shauna Kumar from Canada, who has done a water dance. I think the dance itself would be self-explanatory, so I'll just share it without talking more about it. But Shauna from Dharma in Motion, this is a water dance that Shauna has done as a part of Dharma in Motion, as a part of Shauna dances. Thank you. This was a piece choreographed by Shona Kuni.